Hello. We are having a few technical issues today, so hopefully this is going to go okay. I don't like it when I can't see what I'm filming. Now, this is the digital for today. I'm going to explain what I have and haven't done. This is going to be the tag, and I am going to mount this on my cardstock shortly. Now, these pieces here and that I have mounted on my cardstock, but I have not inked them. I don't want to ink those as yet. Put those aside. These pieces, I've cut one out. My hands just wouldn't cope with cutting the second one out today. So I've got those. They're not mounted. This is also not mounted, and that's quite important. But what I have done is I've gone round the edge here and embossed it. I just wanted to check the embossing powder I was using. So I've just embossed the edge of my stocking. Now, what I also have is I dyed a piece of fabric red and stitched it. That's going to be my tab. I have painted some little mini lollipop sticks. I wasn't exactly sure how many I needed. I've done 6. Now, if you haven't got these lollipop sticks, you could use a piece of double mounted cardstock. So it's not a panic, it's no big deal, and they don't even have to be rounded at the edge. You could just double mount 2 pieces of cardstock. But I've got lollipop sticks, so I'm using those. And then I have a small piece of cardstock, and that needs to be able to fit about here on the back of your stocking. Let me just see, am I in frame? Yes. So you just need a piece of cardstock that's going to fit onto the back of your stocking, just past the white area. Okay, so that's what you'll need. That's obviously not provided in the digital. Is obviously my standard practice. I'm going to mount my tag and cut it out. That's now ready to go. It's all cut and mounted, and I'm just going to add this before I sew around the edge of my tag. It's just to kind of break it up a little bit and have something a little bit different on the tag. So I'm just going to add that. You could use a piece of ribbon, a piece of red paper. You could still put eyelets in. There's 101 things you could do. And what I didn't mention is if you don't want to make the stocking pocket, you could use this as your pocket. Okay, so that's the alternative if you don't want to fiddle about with the stocking. That's done. I'm just going to sew around. I made a little bit of error on my stitching here, as you can see. I went very close to the edge. In actual fact, I went over the edge, but I've done a double row of stitching, so hopefully that's going to be okay. So now what I want to do is add my pocket, and I want the pocket fairly close to the bottom. I don't want to leave too much gap, but what we need to do first is prepare our little piece. Now, I'm taking my scissors and I'm just going to roll this. Now, it's not going to roll as well as a lot of other papers because it's a heavier weight cardstock, but we just need a little bit of movement there so it's not quite so stiff. I'm going to come back the other way, just breaking up the fibres in that cardstock. That's perfect. So we just basically want a tatty piece of rounded card. I'm really sorry about the light. If you're going to do this embossing, you need to do that before you do this. Okay, so I'm going to glue this on the, so I want it rounded on the inside. I'm gluing the outside. I did do a trial of this. I didn't do the whole thing, but I did do a trial of the stocking and it worked. So fingers crossed it's going to work again now. The only thing I haven't done is add our elements to the stocking, so that I really am going to be holding my breath about. Now we're going to put this in place. We want a little gap at the top there, and obviously we're going to flatten that down, but the roundedness to it. So I'm just going to slightly round that, as you can see. We don't want to overdo it. Now I'm going to take one of my lolly sticks as a guide, and we want a little bit sticking up, and we're going to come down just almost to the bottom of that poinsettia with the glue. So I'm going to show you where I'm going to glue. We're going to glue the whole bottom of this stocking. I'm just going to put a lolly stick back there. That's about right. And I'm going to glue the edge of the stocking all the way up to the top. So hopefully you can see where I've glued. Now I'm just going to make sure that's still got a little bit of a rounded top. And I'm going to stick down my stocking. Now you can see we have a little gap there. Okay. Had to edit the stocking a couple of times to make sure we could get that rounded top, but it works quite nicely. Now before I even attempt to put anything in that, I'm going to let it dry. So the pocket is open to about here. Fingers crossed. I'm going to put that aside. Now I'm going to work on these pieces before I glue my lolly sticks on. Now what I want to do is emboss my pieces. You don't have to do this, and I'm not going to emboss everything. I'm going to speed it up, but for those of you that have not used embossing, you can use, this is a dabber and this is a ink pad, embossing ink pad, and you can do it either way. I'm going to use a Ranger's bridal tinsel. That's not quite the effect I was going for. I really did just want that round the edge. So I'm going to emboss the other pieces, and I will come back to show you how it goes. Okay, what I did was I did his hat. I don't know if you can see. I did his hat, and just around his body, I did around the edge of the little star cookie. And I just did the edge of this one. It's getting a little bit difficult. I don't know what exactly is wrong with my dauber, because I checked and it has got fluid in there. But it doesn't like to come out. Now, this is the bit I haven't done yet. So I'm going to take my little mini stick, lolly stick, or like I said, if you haven't got a lolly stick, you can use your double-sided, double-mounted cardstock. I'm just going to glue down the middle of my star. And I'm going to stick this to the lolly. You can do posh things if you want to. You could double-side these. I'm not going to. Just a time thing. Don't have the time for that. And I'm going to mount, take my hair away. I'm just going to mount this also. I mean, with the candy canes, obviously the popsicle stick, lolly stick, whatever you call it, is maybe not needed, but I just wanted a little bit more length on these. I'll do this one. just going to bring my stocking in. I just want to make sure his head is going to show. And like I said, a couple of these are not really, there's not a lot of the stick showing, but I still want to add them to the stick, just so they're all the same. But we might have a few issues. Now we're going to try and put these into our stocking. So I'm going to put one that side, one this side. And there we go. That's the problem. Certainly is a problem. I'm back. Sorry. You know when you don't have as much time as you'd like. And these are done. The embossing's done. Now the whole reason I use the lolly sticks is because this particular element, if you put it in, it just hides. It just disappears. So I thought I would mount them all. Now spot the deliberate mistake. Yeah, you can't get more than 2 in with the sticks. So I had to do it all again. And these pieces now I have done without mounting. They're not on lollipop sticks. They are just as is. But it still looks pretty cool. I've checked it out. Just works. So what we can do is we can put these bits in and then we can add our lolly stick star, and they do fit. So do as I say, not as I do. Do not put all of your elements on lolly sticks. And the reason I didn't just pull these off is because I actually like them, and I'm going to figure out something else to do with those. So there you go, mistake and all. So all I have to do now is decide what else I'm doing with this. And I'm going to add my little symbol here, my little sign. Just going to pull my candy cane out a little bit. I also had glue issues while I was off camera. This clogged up, and it, well, short of a sledgehammer there, it was really difficult to unclog it. And it's really clear, but it's doing a couple of little spots of glue and then it's stopping. And I don't know why. It's just, I can spread the glue around, but it's not coming out. So I'm going to add my Deck the Halls, which I've forgotten to ink, but that's okay. You know. There we go. Got our little bits in. I like them hanging out a little bit further, actually. That lolly. There we go. Let's see if we can get that in at a better angle. Stuck on the snowman. Nope, I'm going to get this in the way I want it. There we go. That's what I wanted. And our little star. Now, number 18 is today. And I haven't really thought about where I'm going to put the number 18. I don't want to put it on there after all the effort it took me to get that right. Let's go down here on our stocking. No. Oh, I don't know. What would be quite fun is if we could put that on another lolly stick, wouldn't it? If it would work. Like I said, all I'd done is tested out that I could get the stocking kind of sitting like that, which I could. I wonder if I could get a second lolly stick in there now with the number on. Maybe if I took out one of my candy canes, I could get the lolly stick in. Yes, I could. Okay. Right, I'm going to glue my number to my to my lolly stick. Maybe I'm just getting a bit short of glue. Maybe that's what the problem is. I'm going to leave that for a second. Okay, that's my pocket done. Now, what I could do is add this to the back and maybe add something else. But I don't know that I want to. I don't know that I want to. I think there's enough dimension on the front of my day 18. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's going to be my, and obviously I have now pieces to go into my box. So we'll put those in there for another time. And I'm also going to put my little lollipop sticks in. That didn't quite work out. All of them. So day 18, not as successful as I was hoping. Not as successful as I was hoping. But let's put this at the back. There we go. So it is getting nice and full now. Nearly there. And by the way, I just wanted to quickly show you. I did put 4 buttons on the bottom of my box just as some feet. They're not brilliant. They're not very high, but it's fine. I'm happy with it. So thank you for joining me today. Sorry it's been a complete disaster. There is only so much you can try out in advance. But, you know, obviously I've now got another page with other bits on too. So there we go. I will see you tomorrow with hopefully something a little bit easier and a little bit more successful. Take care. Bye.